Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Josh from 226 Sources. We're custom wheels, custom bike stuff, and a whole full service bike shop right here in Highland Square, Akron, Ohio. We're going to talk a little bit more about the G.1 Explorer because I have some corrections and clarifications that I thought were probably worth pointing out. This one's going to be brief, but certainly worth talking about. Okay, step one, corrections. I have been referring to the original freewheel from this bike as having a largest cog that's a 26. I've been saying that again and again. I've said it in a couple of videos. I said it a bunch of times in the last video where I replaced this thing. This is going to be very difficult to show on camera, but if we look pretty closely, and if I can make this happen, where is it? Focus. There we go. If we look closely, we can see there's numbers stamped on each cog on the freewheel. The biggest one out here, if you look very closely, man, this is terrible. I can't get the light quite right, but that says 28. The first time I looked at that when we pulled the bike out of the box, I read that as a 26 and I just went with it. I never looked at the spec sheet and I didn't really care very much. The difference between 26 and 28 is not that big, and I knew we were going to be changing that either way. If it came out of the box as a 26 or if it came out of the box with this, we were still switching to that. And what we switched to, which you saw in the last video, or maybe you didn't, is a Sunrace freewheel, which has a larger inner cog. This is a 1428. That one is a 1434. Much bigger inner gear, a little better for climbing. I know that doesn't make a big difference in anybody's evaluation or appreciation for these videos or not, but accuracy is worth calling out. So, 28. I spent a lot of time in the last video suggesting that if you plan on buying this and then upgrading it right away, you may be better served considering the purchase price plus the total value of all those upgrades that you may or may not do, and then take that total and see what you can shop around for in the market. If you get to like a $600 or $800 total, there's a lot of bikes out there that you could consider. What I didn't do was make the case for upgrading a piece at a time. If you don't already know what you're doing or what you're shooting for, or even what's available out there, it may be difficult to come up with those totals in your mind. Like, yeah, the bike's $250, but how much more might I spend? It's tough to know. It's completely valid to not care. I dare to guess that any one of these that comes off the floor at wherever you pick it up is gonna need some tuning right away. The people who tend to put these together for display are kind of incentivized for speed over tuning accuracy or quality. But if you can get the shifting and the brakes dialed in, this is a completely serviceable, rideable bike out of the box with no modifications, no further money spent. And making that point even further, the only modification that we've done at this shop to this thing is this freewheel. That's it. And I'm gonna ride it like this for a little while longer. And maybe this is just how it'll stay. It rides great for what it is. The counterpoint to everything I was saying in that last video is just doing it a piece at a time as you discover what you might prefer to have be a little different. And there is value in that. You can't know what the end total of your total money spent is going to be, but what you can do is just kind of chip away at it. And in so doing, sneak up on a bike that's actually customized for you. You ride for a little bit and find that you're out of gear and you want to do a freewheel like this, cool. This freewheel has a retail of about 25 bucks. Not a big deal. And maybe that's all you do. There's also plenty of people complaining about the brake calipers. Honestly, when these are set up well, you can even make a one-sided mechanically actuated caliper like this work just fine. I would actually suggest to you that if you don't like the braking performance, a good first step that's inexpensive is just to change the brake pads. There's a lot of different compounds of brake pad out there that can give you a little more bite. But these can be made to work just fine. It takes a little bit of finicky setup, but someone who knows what they're doing and what they're aiming for can really get them there. And then you still get good stopping power. These are the stock calipers. I'm riding on these just fine. But if you chose to, it's not even that expensive to make another upgrade working on your calipers and getting a little more stopping power by going maybe to a cable actuated, mechanically operated hydraulic brake. It works by the cable. You only have to change this piece right here, but the caliper body itself has the hydraulics inside it, and then it just works by a lever arm. Similar, works different, a lot better clamping force. And another thing that's not terribly expensive, you get a set of those for somewhere around $100. It'll come with rotors. If you wanted to make any more substantial changes to the drivetrain, like get more than 7 speeds, for example, go to an 8, 9, 10 plus speeds, you're definitely changing the entire drivetrain. And now we're starting to get into the other argument of, well, if I had known that, maybe I should have just bought a bike that had that to begin with, out of the box. And maybe so, but my argument stands. If you get into this bike, it is actually a wise course of action to just kind of chip away at it a little bit. Ride it for a little while, and then in a little bit of a more focused way, you can determine and decide what you'd like to modify. But any direction you want to go is really up to you. It's completely normal to modify your bike. We're a custom shop and a full bike shop. We deal all the time with people who bring in their fully realized riding bikes who just want to make a group set change, and we go ahead and throw whatever it takes at that to make a full upgrade. Or on the other hand, we can also be stepping our way up a group set ladder, going from like Shimano Alivio to Diore to XT. Like, you can kind of play this game of leapfrogging into better and better components, which is a completely legitimate practice, because in that way, you're really controlling how much money you're throwing at the bike and when. So that's it. Those are my more fully realized thoughts. Don't let people who are out there on YouTube, like you're watching me, or in forums somewhere, who have bought this bike and then just like torn the whole thing apart and thrown wheels and forks and different group sets and everything at the bike. Don't let any of those people make you think that you have to already be pre-planned to do all those things. The case that I was making before is, if you're gonna pre-plan to do those things, you could just buy a whole better bike for that money. The case that I'm making now is that you don't need to. And yeah, I feel totally fine having it both ways. The thing I do try to stress the most is, it's your bike, you get to choose. And the most important thing is, get a bike that you like and get out there, get outside, go for a ride. We'll see you out there.